Hello there. My name is Sherry Simpson. I am a transformational life coach. It is my duty and desire in this lifetime to help people reclaim themselves. I have created my own unique process of helping people to recreate themselves, to get clarity on what is theirs and what is not, and how to access your intuition, to release those things that don't serve you, to call in the emotions that do, to really align to a certain set of desires, to really train yourself to use this process of releasing and calling in new emotions so that you continue to up level on a regular basis, and also to really empower you in order to take the action steps you need to take in order to get the manifestations and those end goals and dreams and desires that you want. So I essentially help you reclaim you. I will leave a link in the comment if you are ready to have a free session about how to reclaim you. In this beautiful video that I am doing for you today, I want to talk to you about water and the element of water. In your astrological chart, there are 4 different elements that are represented. Sometimes people only have 2 or 3 and they're missing 1 or more elements in their chart. Those are the magic for you, because if you're missing an element, it's what you are meant to call in other ways, because it's not you, to feel the harmonious balance that many of us are really striving for in our lives. So I am a 5-time Scorpio in my astrological chart. I have Scorpio in my sun, my moon, my Mars, my Venus, and my Mercury. And I also have Cancer as my rising sign. And my Pisces, I think, is in Saturn. So I have a lot of water in my chart. And so I'm going to share with you today about water. So when you are feeling like water is balanced in your life, then it's easy for you to be emotional. It's easy for you to cry at appropriate times. It's easy for you to be compassionate with yourself and for others. It's easy for you to dream and to really get into the things that are metaphysical and spiritual and the things that are in the underworld. It's easy for you to be vulnerable and not have that be a problem, to understand what is comforting for you and to allow yourself to have what is comfortable. So some other things about water signs and the element of water. Usually when water signs get really upset, they go nonverbal. And the reason that they go nonverbal is because they have a challenge with anger, for sure. They don't like to be angry and they don't like anger. And so they have a challenge with articulating how they're feeling, because when they're upset, that makes them vulnerable. So they're feeling all these feelings and not able to articulate it when they feel it. So it's definitely something that you want to do with a water sign. You want to comfort them. You want to ask them if they need a hug. You want to ask them if they want to talk about it. You want to just hold space for them to be comfortable and not feel overly vulnerable that they're feeling this way. So when a water sign, or when water in your life, in your world, is not balanced, you will second guess yourself. You will have really thin boundaries. So this happened to me for a long time in my life, where I couldn't say no. I would overgive and underreceive and not allow myself to be balancing and harmonious with how I was giving and receiving. So that's definitely a sign that your water is off in your life, in your chart, in your world, when you can't say no and when you overreact. It's also very common for water signs, if they're out of balance, to have a lot of negative self-talk. This was me for a long time before I got really into my spiritual side and understood how emotional I really am and how to handle those emotions. A lot of water signs are really private. We like to have our own space. We like to be comfortable in our own space, but that can go to the extreme where you're afraid of going out and being judged and being seen. So many water signs can actually be very reclusive. A lot of water signs just really cherish having time to themselves. So if life is busy, if business is busy, if family is busy, then they really need to take that time, especially to get into nature, preferably even by the water, in order to get back to themselves and in order to really dig into themselves and to be themselves. Many water signs are hyper sensitive. They could be sensitive to smells, they could be sensitive to people. Many of them are empaths, sensitive to how the world is feeling, sensitive to how other people are feeling. And it's also as though the water signs can take on these emotions and not know whether they belong to you, they belong to me, or whether they belong to someone else. So you really want to have a good sense of, this is me, this is not me, and know how to filter that. It's something that I do with my clients, is helping to people to filter what is me and what is not me, so that you're actually acting in your own alignment and for your own best interests. So many water signs have a lot of allergies. They can have a tendency to get sick easily. And what happens here is that they're so oversensitive that they're not just determining what is mine and what is not mine. And they're allowing this oversensitivity to activate sickness and to activate allergies in their system. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier. A lot of the water signs are very into going deep, and it depends whether the sign is fixed or muted. And I'll talk about that at another time. But it's really as though the mystical and things about death and things about transformation and really getting to the truth are magical for a Scorpio. When they are alone in the comfort of their home and they're digging into all of these things, that is a happy place for many of the water signs, not just the Scorpios, but each of the signs, the Scorpio, the Cancer, and the Pisces, sort of use this and activate it in a different way in their life. One of the things that is very beneficial for all of the water signs is music, especially something like classical music that is very soothing and comforting, because water signs really like to be soothed and comforted. So when a water sign is not acting themselves, they could feel depressed, they could feel lonely, they could feel like they're not good enough. That negative self-talk is like beating themselves up. They're not feeling good enough. They could be sad, they could be feeling scared, they're feeling inadequate, they're feeling like they're just not enough, they're not worthy, they're not deserving. And a very interesting thing for me to understand, because people have told me in the past that I pick up other people's fears. Fear is definitely something that is connected to water. So if you're a water sign, you may resonate with this, that you could be afraid of all different kinds of things, making all of these worry patterns in your mind about what you're afraid is going to happen, about what you're afraid, how people will treat you, and what the outcome is going to be. Fears are huge for the water signs. So you want to have this place where you can retreat into yourself and into comfort. And you want to sort of be aware of those things that are going on in your mind, so that you can say, oh, wait a minute, I'm picking up the fears of the world again. I'm picking up the fears of my mother again, or my sister, or whoever. And you're saying, okay, you know what? I understand that fear isn't actually mine, and I'm going to choose today not to worry about it. I'm just going to worry about that at another time. So you're allowing yourself to put those fears aside. Because if you allowed the fears to engulf you, which I have done in my past, and it is not fun, then life doesn't feel easy. Life feels scary, and it just doesn't serve you to be that way. So I want you to know that if any of these things are active in your life, if some of the things that I mentioned, maybe 7 or more, are in your life, if they are the positive side of water, then you are balancing water in your chart. You're balancing water in your life. If you have not, if some of these things resonate, but it's all the negative things, then you need to find a way to flip how you're functioning with water or emotions in your life and in your astrology chart. So the cool thing about water and all 4 of the elements is that we go through each of them every day, and we go through each of them over our lifetime. So in the morning, we use the shower and we use the bathroom, we're in the water. And then we move into the place of the mind, where we sort of go through the thoughts of what do I need to do today? And you're going through the air. We'll talk about that in another video. And then you go through the actual action steps, the practical things, the earthy part of getting things done in your day. And then you move into the fire part, which is usually at the end of the day. We do things that are more fun. We might go out with friends. We might have a glass of wine. That passion, that funness, that playfulness, that fire sign, that's fire. So every single day we have a tendency to go through each of our signs. So you want to see if those signs for you are actually balanced or out of whack. we also go through these same signs and these elements when we're growing through our life. Do we go through the water sign in gestation when we are in our mother's wombs and we are being born onto the earth? And then we go through this, what is me, what is not me, mine, I do, as a child who's around 2, and going through all of these things where you're moving into the mind and moving into thinking things. And then you go through this action stage, and then at the end of life, people go through more of like the passion and fun stage, because usually into retirement, you have more time and you have more money. So we go through these processes of the elements. They are meant to be balanced through your day and through your life, and also how you act as a person. So hopefully what I spoke today about the water signs really resonated with you. If you're out of balance with your emotions, if you're crying all the time or never able to cry at all, you could be out of balance with water, and you want to be able to bring more emotion and bring more compassion for yourself and usually others, and bring more comfort and bring more positivity in your mind, and bring more understanding of the self, an understanding of the world into how you act and how you are. So let me know if you have any comments and questions. Let me know if you're interested in a Reclaim You free session to understand how I can help you reclaim yourself. I look forward to connecting with you again. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.